in the diagonal. So let's suppose I'll put it at 45 degrees so you can see the square, but a square is a rhombus as well, so it's just a rhombus at 90 degrees. But yeah, distracted again, Sarah. Yeah, so let's say you had a random diagonal of a square. I said we don't know what this square's side length is, but we know what the diagonal is. Oh, by the way, if you click move, choose a point, you can move stuff. Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, we don't know what the length of the square's line, like side is, but we know what the diagonal is. What do we do? First step, you will bisect this line. So let me choose a length that's longer than half of this line. That's what it is, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that in the first part. And I'm terrible. Control. And you're going to draw. You're going to bisect that line, right? And you're going to lengthen it on both sides. Oh, I could show you something else in the meantime. So, that's the diagonal of the square, right? You can draw a circle from this intersection to the edge here, right? I'm going to show you a new thing as well, just in case. So from trim, we have another thing called extend. Again, I think it's a bit different on AutoCAD 2019, but if you select objects, you can just hover over them and it'll extend it to the other object you select. Unless it doesn't intersect, then it doesn't intersect. Yeah, so that's how you get it to meet the line. But essentially, you want this line to meet this circle out here. And now what you could do, you can take a line, and from this, well, let me just bold my diagonal so you could see. This is the diagonal we started off with, right? And so, from this point down here to where the bisected line, the perpendicular bisected line, I should point out, meets here, 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 and here. And now you see with this diagonal, we can find the sides of the square, or we can construct the square using diagonal. Yeah, I say perpendicular bisector of a line, because if you had a line just passing through here, that doesn't mean that point would be there. But anyway. Now, on to Pentagon. We're not talking about some intelligence agency here, sorry. So let's say our pentagon side is 50, because it's a small pentagon. Let me just bold this again. Right. So, how does one construct a pentagon from this minuscule, pathetic little line? First, you get a circle. Oh, not a polygon, a circle. And you use the endpoint of the line as the center of your circle, and the other endpoint of the line as the edge of your circle. I'm terrible at explaining, but I hope you guys could just watch this and see. And you do the same thing on the other side. Now, you go down here, you pull this up, and it's very important, like, you don't use here as your radius for this third circle, but you use here. Now, what you do after that is you would draw a line from this point here, this intersection, to here. And then, it's a lot of construction in, well, quote unquote, a lot of construction. But, you would draw a line from here to this intersection. And the same thing on the other side. You're essentially mirroring it on both sides. And you're gonna, let me be all fancy and use my extend. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't finish a lot of my sentences, and there I am doing it again. Yeah. Well, there's a lot more construction in this than there is in like bisecting a line and stuff. So, right then. So now that you've extended them to touch these circles, you could also just, hover over this and just click lengthen and just pull it up. But now that you've done that, you're gonna extend this in the center as well. And you're gonna scribe an arc from here. And remember, our pentagon is 50. So here to the center. And you're going to draw this line. Now you'll notice if you don't do it right, this wouldn't be the same length as this line. So there's a little tip and that wouldn't be the same length. If you do it right, all the sides should be the same length. So, you know. And you join all those points of intersection together. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you construct a pentagon. Now moving right on to the hexagon. There are a number of ways to construct a hexagon. First, I'll use the same 50 side. So we have this here. This is our line. This is our itty bitty line who has big aspirations. He wants to become a hexagon. So we could do something along the lines of what we did for the pentagon. We do the circle there. I could say we use the line as the radius of a circle, if that makes more sense. There, there, and here. Now this is something very important to note if you're going to use this method, is that when you draw the line from here, you're drawing it from here to here. You're not drawing it to some center part here, you're actually drawing it from here to here. And then you're going to lengthen that, and then you're going to do the same on the other side, and that means I could show you something else you could use called mirror. You select an object, then you specify the first point of mirror line, and the second essentially flips the object on the other side. And you don't erase those objects. Now, one thing we still have to do is, right, so we still have to draw a circle from this point here out like so. So now you can take your outline, and from this point here to 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 this point here, and you have a hexagon. Now that's not the only way to do it, and there are sort of simpler ways to do it, which I'm going to show you now real quick. So you have your line here, and you take your circle, well, not circle, actually you could use an arc. An arc is essentially a small circle, like a piece of a circle. You take your arc and you construct your 60-degree angle again. You could just use the lengths like how we did the last time. It doesn't really make a difference. You could use circles to construct a 60-degree angle. It just looks really messy. So now we have this. You could take a circle, use this as the center, pull this as your radius. And after that, remember this length of this line is 50, so we're going 50 all around. So we take an arc of 50 and we scribe it here, and then we continue, take an arc of 50, scribe it here, and we take an arc of 50, scribe it here. Well, you get the gist. You get what I'm trying to accomplish, right? Essentially, it'll go, because each line is the same length as the other one. If you just translated the length of the line around the circle, this is what would happen. Now it's a bit different for other polygons, I suppose. Yeah, that's the other way of doing it. And then of course there's another way of doing it. I have it here. Like, there are a few different ways to do it, but the point is, that's what happens. Right, octagon is our last one. Sorry for making this so long. So, we're nearly done, guys, we're nearly done. So, let's use 80 as our radius, because it's an octagon, why not? And so let's say we're putting an octagon in this circle. So now we're going to go to a new tab called Annotate. We're going to give this a center mark. The other way of doing this is to, like if you didn't have a center mark, you could do a whole bunch of construction to get it, but for now I'll just show you the center mark because I don't want to go over 45 minutes. I didn't want to go over 30 minutes. So right, now what you're going to do, An octagon has 8 sides, right? And this is divided into 4, like it's quartered, like an orange. So you're going to take an arc from here to, well, it's the same thing as bisecting a line, except you're bisecting an arc. So let's say the radius is 100. Let me change this from continuous. And there you go. And because we have the center point, we don't need to pull it all the way down here. And then we're going to draw a line from here to this intersection. And because we're very lazy chaps, we're going to not construct all of this. We're going to mirror it. On contrary, you could also do another thing. Well, don't do this for several reasons, but you could also do a polar array. Specify the center point, and then go here and click 4 as your items, and ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. But don't do that, because polar arrays have different properties than regular things. So let's pretend I mirrored all that, and you take a line, you take your pretty little outline because you're done and you're so happy you're done. Go from this intersection, to this intersection, to this intersection, snap, to this intersection, to this intersection, to this intersection. You get the gist of what could have arrayed this too, but I wanna feel legit right now. And that is your octagon. Ta-da! Jazz hands. So this is all we've covered for TD in this term, other than, of course, tangency, which I have some little notes on down here about the properties of a tangency and stuff like that. If you want to study that anyway, you could probably just pause that video for that 1 second. And all these questions, glance, 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 glance. Okay, here what? I'll scroll out so you can't see. Let me turn off all of my, let me just click on outline. Turn off all these. Here's some for you to try out. Here's some constructions for you to try out, right? Do that, that. Of course, they don't have the measurements on it. Sorry. Smiley face. Okay. Well, I've kept you long enough. It's 44 minutes. I have 1 minute to spare to send you guys off. So, thank you for watching. Well, I suppose you if you wanted to pass TD and you didn't know what you were doing, you didn't really have much of a choice. But yeah, see you guys in TD on Friday, or whenever I see you guys. If you're a random person watching this for absolutely no reason, see you then. I'll sign off now. I'll put links, well, I'll put in the description or in the comment section the timings for each of the specified tutorial pieces, so you won't have to go through this entire video to learn one thing. And yeah, bye! Smiley face, smiley face.